Hey guys, what's happening? Thanks for tuning in, coming back and watching. I appreciate it. Hope your day's going well. I'm in Luminar 4 and I'm doing a creative workflow video today. And this is just something that I was experimenting with and playing around with and just kind of having fun. I sort of imagined a photo and I took something that I thought was kind of ho-hum and turned it into something that I found interesting and fun. And you know, despite being kind of creative, I actually think it's realistic. So it's not like a creative out there fantasy thing. It's really based on reality, and I think you'll understand what I mean in a minute. It's a combination of layers and some masking, various tools, a texture, lots of things. So we're going to jump into that. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. And if you're not new here and you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I got a lot of more videos coming around Luminar and other things. I'll just keep bringing them out every week and doing my best to provide you guys some tips and tricks to help your editing improve or get better or change or just maybe learn something. So hope it's worth your time. I appreciate you watching. Subscribe down below. Give me a comment. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you like what I'm doing. Let's get into this video. Here's the base photo. Now, disregard, there's a few spots in the sky. This is something I took a long time ago, and I really needed to clean my camera sensor, but it had spots. Luckily, in Luminar, they're easy enough to take out. So that's my base photo. I did crop it. And that's my final photo. So I wanted to do something that was like a stormy, rainy day in London, which of course you get rainy days in London. It happens, right? And I just wanted to shift the colors around and really pop some of the light and add a little bit of drama and that kind of stuff. And that's what I came up with. So one more time, there's the before and the after. Let me reset all these filters and we'll walk through it. Okay, here we are with the base photo. It is a raw file that I'm working off of. I've already cropped it and straightened it, and I'm going to jump into the editing. The first thing I do is temperature, and that's simply because it's just not nearly blue enough for me, and so I need to make some adjustments. I'm going to do the tint as well, and this is something I often do, especially with kind of my blue hour photos, and that is I make them a little bit more blue because this photo before was kind of more greenish and not really my preference for color, especially on a cityscape. Okay, then a little smart contrast. I'm gonna go to about 17 here, and then I'm gonna lift the shadows a little bit as well. I wanna get some visibility back under the Westminster Bridge here. This is obviously London, but I wanna get some visibility back in there, so I'm lifting the shadows so that I can see under that bridge because I like the shape and kind of what's going on there in that pattern. Next is over to AI Enhance, and I'm just going AI Accent, and I'm going to like about 39 or something. And again, it's just an overall improvement to the photo, brightening, giving me more visibility still into underneath that bridge. I really like that. It's a nice line, and I like how the lights all line up and they're all lit. And so I'm getting there, but of course I've got quite a bit still to do. Next up is my favorite move with AI Structure. So I'm gonna go like a -52 or something, 53. And I'm gonna take a brush, and all I'm gonna do is just erase that from the buildings. In other words, I'm just creating some softness in the sky, and that's in the water, by the way, and that's all I wanna do. So I'm just gonna talk to you while I kind of walk through this and try to erase this smoothing that I've done from the buildings and all the human structure that's in the photo. Okay, I just skipped all my masking. I took a couple of minutes just to get it kind of decent, and I'm gonna say done. Okay, now I wanna get these lights to pop and the reflection of the lights in the water, which I love, so I'm gonna use golden hour for that. And in this case, I'm going to like 50, 51, something like that. And all I'm trying to do is get that color to pop a little bit because that's one of the things I like about the photo so much is that it's dark and kind of blue, and then you have these lights that are, you know, they're kind of not kind of, but they do lead your eye toward Big Ben. It just works for me. So I wanted to brighten those up and give them a little bit of pop of color. Also, keep in mind, we've talked about in previous color videos, and that is that this yellowy blue, this yellowy kind of orange color is opposite from blue, so they're very complementary. So I want to sort of play on that in this photo. Okay, next I went over to the Pro tab and I went into Color Enhancer. And in advanced settings, I got into color balance. I did a video about color enhancer if you want to check it out there. All I did is I took the shadows to about an 8 here on the yellow blue, and you can see what that did to the photo. So there's the before, and there's the after. Just a little bit richer and darker blue, so I'm just basically putting more blue in the shadows with that tool there. And while I'm over here, I'm gonna pop into split toning, and I'm gonna put the hue at about 20, I think it is. There we go, and saturation of about 45. So let me pull that up a little bit. There we go. And you can see I'm again, just trying to pop that color. again, disregard the spots in the sky. I know they're kind of distracting, at least they are to me. I'll get them out before the final image is ready, but there we go. There's before split toning, and there's after. Because I'm hitting the highlights, it's also picking up a little bit in the sky there, which I think is fine. I think it just totally works, so I'm not worried about removing it. Although if I wanted to, I could mask it in and just erase it from that area. But again, I like it, so I'm good with it. And then this is where I had my photo, and I was like, I mean, it rains in London. What can I do that would be kind of make it look like it's raining? And I was like, oh, I know. I can make it look like it's raining. So I went and found a texture on the web. It's just a rain overlay. It was just a free download somewhere. I just Googled it. And now let me find it, rain overlay. And boom, just drop it in using the texture overlay filter. And by the way, texture overlay deep dive video is right there if you want to check it out. It's super powerful, wonderful tool. And hey, Jim, that's really dark and moody. And it is. And so this is where I come in and I mess with some of these settings because I did not like it like that, and that's something to think about, is it doesn't always look the way you want it to look, so don't hesitate to experiment. So first thing is the opacity. I'm going to take that down. It's just way too much. So I'm going to like 16, and frankly, that's better already, really. It just took that intensity down so much. I increased the brightness to like 29 or 30. Just trying to pop that the look of the rain a little bit. And then contrast is coming down, so like a -32 or so. And then the hue, I just went to like a -73 on the hue. And again, this was me just kind of messing around with the sliders and trying to get it to look better. But there's the no texture, no rain, although it looks like it's gonna rain. And there it is with the texture. So I feel like the rain is pretty good. I looked around for a while, to be honest. It was hard to find a rain overlay that I really liked. So I'm pretty happy with it now. But of course, there's things I want to do. The first thing is I want to go and erase those spots. So I'm going to do that and then skip ahead in the video. Okay, and there I was. And this was what I considered a complete photo. There's the before and the after. But being kind of who I am and the way I do things, after I finished this and sat on it, I was like, I don't know, I kind of want to play with it a little bit more. So I went and got another layer. So I added a new adjustment layer. And then the first thing I did is I went into the light tool. And believe it or not, I dropped the exposure, but only by like a smidge. So like literally like 0.02 or 0.03, something like that. Very minor, and it's almost impossible to notice. And then I went back into AI Enhance, and I went AI Accent at about 25. So about there, and then I went AI Sky Enhancer about 14 or 15 as well. And you know that it does a good job of creating a little bit more contrast and darkness in the sky, so it darkened those clouds. Let me show you the before. Now that's both tools or both sliders in this tool, and the after. But I wanted to amp up the sky a little bit because it is raining. So I wanted the clouds to be a little bit more ominous. And then next I went into color, and that was just simply because I wanted to take the blue saturation down. It's just a little too blue, and trust me, I love my blue, but I just felt like it was a little over the top blue. So I wanted to pull that down and make it look a little bit more realistic and less saturated. So that was what that was for. And then once again, I hit golden hour across the whole image at about a 25. And again, I'm just popping the lights and that color. And so I've hit it a couple of times now, and so it's really starting to show up. And I just like the look of that, how it kind of in the water mirrors the lights, because obviously it's a reflection of them, leading your eye to Big Ben. And wanting to add a little bit of drama to it, I popped over here and got in the dramatic tool, and I moved that up to about a 35. Let me get there. So something about like that. The thing was, I just felt like it was a little too intense, and I don't want to overdo it. I mean, it is kind of a dramatic photo. So what I did is I went in and got a luminosity mask and applied that to the photo. And so what that does is apply it based on luminance values. So the brighter parts of the photo get more of that dramatic look. The thing was, the brighter parts of the photo are kind of like the sky and stuff. So what I did is I went into the brush mask, and then you can see the luminosity mask there. And so I just went over here and inverted it to apply it more like that. So I wanted less drama and detail in the clearer or brighter parts of the sky and more in the rest of the photo. So that's what that was about. Let me close that and say done. And so basically I've applied it on a luminosity mask and then inverted it just to put it in a little bit more of the darker parts of the photo. It also works for me like logically because it puts a little bit more texture here in the water, which makes sense to me as though the rain is hitting it. And it gives a little bit of crunch to the Houses of Parliament and the bridge and that sort of thing. So that's what that move was really all about for me. And then one more thing while I was over here, because I just can't stop experimenting, I went and got a LUT. So I went over here and I chose this candlelight LUT, and I went to about a 35. So let me get there. And there's that. And that's just, again, just adding a little bit of drama. I mean, I'm making it up anyway, so like, why not do what you want, right? That's kind of my whole mantra for editing, is like, do what you want. So here's the before that LUT, and then here's the after. A little bit more dramatic, a little bit darker and moodier. And that leads me to my last filter, which is over here on the Essentials tab, and that's Vignette. So here I take down the amount to like a -51, and I take the size down to like 20, 21, something like that. Now roundness, I'm gonna go to the left. I'm gonna go like about -28 or so. I'm making it more of an oval shape, less round. I'm gonna do feathering to about 100. So I want that transition to be really smooth. And then I'm gonna give inner light about a 25 or so, something like that. And again, you don't really need help drawing your eye into the center of the frame, because the bridge kind of leads you there. And I think from the left, your eye, it just kind of converges on Big Ben. But a vignette is great at that. So there's the before vignette and there's the after vignette. And that's the whole workflow, my friends. So I was able, and a couple layers and a few filters to go from that to that. And the sliding is this one. So I think it was quite a change. It was a lot of fun to edit, to be honest. And I love doing these kind of creative workflow videos. So hopefully you found it helpful. If you did, give me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about it. Maybe give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I'll be back soon with more videos, my friends. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great evening, and I'll see you later, and adios.